told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome to the Journey of Life podcast powered by Zozo, the brand. If improving yourself, elevating, and educating yourself is part of your life's goals, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Tendaishe Monalissa. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Tendaishe Monalissa. Follow the podcast page at JOLpodcast on Instagram. And we're bringing to you another episode of Debrecen Diaries. And this is the 10th episode on the podcast. I'm super excited to be celebrating this milestone. And of course, I have a special guest as per tradition. And it's another Zimbabwean brother and really good friend. Welcome, guest.
Thank you.
Feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Robson Messiah. Studying physiotherapy in Debrecen. What else? Oh yeah, I'm also a resident barber. Yeah, if you need a barber in the city, under Blades and Blends. That's also my Instagram name.
We're gonna link it.
Yeah. What else do I do? I also play rugby. Dad's rugby. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, welcome.
Shout out. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you here. I think we always have the most enlightening conversations whenever we do hang out. And I always find we always are the ones like left discussing some of the most random things that nobody else is interested in. Which is it's really nice to have you over. I'm really excited to have you on here because I think from having conversations with you, I really like the way you think. I think you're a very personable, intelligent young man, and I think the world needs to hear some of your opinions.
I don't know
on things. Yeah, and I mean, this is the Journey of Life podcast. So if you're a live thing on this planet, you have something to share. You have something to offer the world. So, of course, guys, in the spirit of tradition, we're going to have the educational segment. And because Robbie is studying physiotherapy, I thought it would be really great to give some information on studying physiotherapy, the program that we have here at the University of Debrecen. So I made a couple of questions, that I thought maybe some people who are thinking about studying physiotherapy could really benefit from. So what is physiotherapy and who should consider doing it? Van Vageta say, what kind of people?
Okay, so physiotherapy definition, it's prevention, treatment, and rehab of movement systems or disorders in the body and other diseases. So pretty much all your stroke patients, post-op patients, you hurt your knee during a sport or even at the gym, you need recovery, or the guys you call. Anything generally to do with the musculoskeletal movement system, either you're hurt by a nerves, whatever the case may be. Yeah, we're your guys. Anyone who's got a passion for health sciences and willing to be hands-on with people, it's a very good program to do. Like me, for example, I wanted to study orthopedics initially. I had a thing for wanting to study bones and fixing bones and people in that sense. But after some evaluation, I realized medicine may not be for me. So I then started evaluating other areas and other degree programs, and then I stumbled upon physiotherapy and felt like a very good fit for me. I was really passionate about sport at the time. So the idea, I think initially, even for some guys who do physiotherapy, it's always an athlete guy who got injured, or they had someone who got injured, and then they were exposed to that whole they had a physiotherapist. Like, I know this might be nice. That's what kind of happened to me through my brother. So it's like, physiotherapy is nice. I was passionate about, learning the body and health sciences, helping people. And yeah, that's how I came to choose physiotherapy even.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, especially how you put it. And I think it's so important for young people to hear from people who are actually studying certain programs, which sometimes we don't really get to have. Maybe when we have career guidance, we hear people who are already in the profession. True. So you don't get to experience how it's like to study the program and things like that. And when someone is in a profession, like it glamorizes everything. You're just like, oh my gosh, they're a doctor. Oh my gosh, they're a physiotherapist. But like, I think it's one of my passions for people to actually get information before they make the choice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
To also think carefully and critically about who they are as a person, their strengths, their personality, and if they would thrive in this field that they want to be in, because they know what it actually means to be a physiotherapist, like you said. And I think that it's really great that you actually, got to evaluate different fields. And the fact that you ended on physiotherapy, you actually realized that, no, orthopedics won't work because I don't want to study medicine and go through that, whatever the process is. No, that's not for me. I'm really, really glad to hear like this perspective. Like, I hope more people can make really informed decisions like this, for sure. So you ended up on the University of Debrecen. Like, how did you get to know about the program here?
It was through a career guidance officer in my high school. A couple of guys from my high school had already been here studying medicine. So it was very easy. When I told her that I wanted to do health science, she was like, oh, bro. Well, she gave me other options in terms of countries, and I think it was Netherlands, Italy, and whatever. But I then chose Hungary because it felt different, new. I wanted to go to Europe, so I was like, I know, I'll go to Hungary. I don't know why really, but that's what happened. And then when I chose Hungary, she was like, I know Debrecen is the best fit for you. It's probably going to be easier for them also, because they had a couple of guys go through the whole system in terms of how to get from Zimbabwe
to here.
So,
I see.
Yeah. And even for me, once they told me that these guys, Tendaishe, Anesu, all the other house guys were here, I was like,
might as
go.
well,
Yeah, it was very
nice
easy for me. It was a no-brainer.
Nice. So, like, how long is the program, and how much is the tuition for physiotherapy?
It's 8 semesters, which is about 4 years, and it's 6,000 USD per year. So, yeah.
Okay, I think that's not too bad compared to medicine, for sure. I think medicine is like 2.5 times. Yeah, ridiculous. But anyways, it is what it is. So, is there people on scholarships that you know of?
Yes, not
from Zimbabwe.
Yes. From Zimbabwe, no.
No, and it.
Do you know any?
No, I don't.
Do we even? I don't think we have that option.
I've tried to research about it quite a bit, but but I haven't been in touch with the latest incoming students.
Yeah, true.
So
true that.
I tried to find out, but I don't think it's possible for us yet. But yeah. Anyways, speaking of studying physiotherapy in Debrecen, how academically demanding is it? Like, is it lots of study hours and this?
It's no medical school. By that I mean it's not as hard as that. But I think then the misconception is it's easy. It's not. It's got its challenges.
Really? People think physiotherapy is easy?
If you ask some of the guys, like when you start in first year, the way they be moving, you can tell that this guy
they really underestimate the program.
Yeah, type thing. But I mean, some of the subjects that the medical students struggle with, especially at the beginning, we also do those subjects. So your typical anatomies, all of that, we do that. Obviously, it's not as hectic, especially when it comes to like the examination part. They don't like grill us as much as it's a whole different topic. But yeah, it's got its challenges. Like, I mean, with the whole content thing, it's a lot of content. The level of detail that you need to know. It is a health science after all. and you're trying to work on people, so you need to know your stuff to the T, type thing. So it's
the
got
body
its
is a
challenges.
system, fam. So everything is connected.
It then becomes like, I know generally I like to believe if you're doing a degree, it's generally going to be challenging to some extent, but like problem with our type degrees, it's a lot of content. So even if you don't work during the semester and you try to do that all cram last minute, there's a whole bunch of stuff you're going to need to know in a short period of time. It makes your life
way harder
than it's supposed to be.
There you go. So for the people who are choosing health sciences, like, this is the challenging parts. Like, even if you're really great, it's like cramming and things like that. The amount of information you have to learn is just so much that there has to be some level of prior preparation. Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, really. Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned, you have a little side business on the side. Like you said, you're a barber. How have you been able to like manage that? You play for the theater,
The barbering thing is a bit recent, but when that started, that's when I realized that I had to prioritize my life in terms of like planning my day-to-day things, in terms of not having too many clients, because there were times where I would technically have free time. So initially I would want to then slide a client in there, but I realized it's not actually free time, because that's the time I'm meant to be studying or even resting or having time to myself, whatever the case may be. You really have to balance your life. But what I've also realized is that because my life is now somewhat or mildly busy, it forces me to, like I said, plan my life and be very present when I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So if I'm playing rugby, I'm playing rugby. I'm really doing that. That's where my mind is at. If I'm cutting hair, I am cutting hair. If we're not doing school, let's do school, type thing. Piece of advice for future physiotherapists or future students: go to lectures. That's one thing that helps me. I know it's very unpopular amongst the uni students, but for me, I realized you go to your lecture, by the time, even when I haven't adequately studied as much as I would have loved to, whatever information that I see when I then decide to study or whatever the case may be, it's not new to me. I'm not seeing it for the first time. It's not weird. I have somewhat of an understanding of what I'm seeing. So going to lectures, especially for this type of degree, really helps. Because even like with the lectures, like, I don't know if you have the same problem. You will notice that sometimes they're not explaining much or to enough detail because you had to be there.
Exactly.
During the lecture.
They're just like, it's like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And then all the theoretical information the lecturer is saying it.
Type thing. So that really does help. But yeah.
Oh, fair enough. What have been the most challenging years for you for physiotherapy?
Second year. And that's not to say the final years are not challenging. They are. But I feel like after that, just somewhat dialed in. You know how to study now and all of that. And even like the group becomes more intimate. So you now help each other. Study groups, whatever that may be. But second year for me, I think also because of the curriculum with us, it's kind of like they teach you how to solve the problems your first couple of years, and then they teach you the diseases and the rheumatology, the whatever cardio after. So weird. That like, it's not actually. So it's like by the time you get there, when you're towards the cardio, you know how to apply the knowledge that you learned before.
I see.
You get. So because of that, the content that you learn earlier on is also demanding also. And you're also fresh into uni type thing. So second year was like that for me. You can survive first year, but second year, the kinesiology, it's pretty intense. You can even see just by the credits will be there. One subject with like 10, 8 credits, 12. You're like, yo, it's
the big courses. I see. Hey guys, you heard kinesiology. Yeah, I know a couple of people who were doing kinesiology before this. I think came to study medicine here. So I think that's pretty popular as well in other countries.
Pretty much the degree. Somewhat it's important. Don't think you can do physio without it.
Hey, gosh, these health sciences, So I don't know if you're, you have a lot of information on this since you're still like in uni, but I'm pretty sure you're in your final years. So I know that you're probably looking out for these things and stuff. Like, what job opportunities like does physiotherapy provide, and are there any available, let's say, to foreign students locally, let's say neighboring countries or in Europe, that you're aware of, or I don't know.
So the whole thing with, I think most health sciences becomes, especially the language thing, because whatever country, anywhere on earth, you need doctors, you need nurses, you need physiotherapists, you need the whole dentist, the whole length, right? But then the major thing is the what you call it, certification to get in the particular country, or the language barrier. So hey, if you can do a thing with a Hungarian, then you should be able to get a job here. But the job options, pretty much clinically, you can work cardio, orthopedics, pediatrics, all the sub departments. There's a physio that needs to be there, type thing. Or you can work with children who've got special needs, or old age patients. Also, there's that. You can sports medicine, popular one.
Yeah, I guess
for teams.
most people make the
high,
most there, right? Yeah.
Either for teams or for high profile athletes. You can have they can have their personal physiotherapist. What else? Research. You can also become a lecturer, teaching. Those are the ones I can think about. Or even consulting.
So what do you have in mind, for example, if you don't mind me asking?
Sports medicine.
Where the money at? Where the money resides.
And it's also like fun, I guess. Like,
and I think you're a sportsman as well, so it makes sense.
It'll be fun. Everyone wants to. I mean, if I could get the opportunity to work like for your dream team that you support, whatever the case may be, that would be fun. But also, I think anyone can testify if you do any of these physio, medicine, whatever's. I started off very streamlined. I want to do sports medicine. But once you start learning about these other options that you have, your mind starts changing. So really right now, I wouldn't mind working clinically in a hospital under orthopedics or even pediatrics. It's very, I guess, wholesome. That, I don't know, after even you do your practices and your rounds during the summer practice, I don't know, something changed for me anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind this. It's not too bad. So, it's still a process. It could change.
I think I like that you have an open mind. I think it's one of the other things, like I keep discussing with people who ask me, what I want to do, where I want to be, and seeing how drastically that has changed in the past year or year and a half after I started my final year and stuff. Like, I think most importantly, we need to learn to allow ourselves to change our minds. Because I think there's this thing like, I can't change my mind. I already said and I've already preached to the world that I want to be this. You can be anything you want to be. And I think the reason why it's important that I ask people these questions, I think it not only helps to open their own mind to the options that are available to them, but to other people as well that don't know that being a medical doctor is not just about doing clinical medicine. The medical field is a huge machine that consists of so many other, units. So let's say you talked about physiotherapy and all the units that it has in the medical field, and what you can do. Those are so many options for physiotherapists. It's the same thing with medical doctors. There's research, there's clinical medicine. And in clinical medicine, there's specialties and so many of those. You know what I mean? There's research, there's academia, there's like, The opportunities are actually so endless. But I promise you, if you talk to any student who's a medic, they will never say anything outside of a clinical specialty. Never. Because we're just not taught to think that way. We're just surrounded by all this clinical, which there's nothing wrong with, but I think there needs to be more. We need to have more options to just even think about or theorize, like, so wow, maybe I could thrive as this, maybe I could thrive as that other thing. Like, it's so necessary to open up our minds. And I remember telling people, when I started med school, I wanted to be a surgeon. And I thought that, I want to do neurosurgery because it's very prestigious. It's for really smart people, for all the wrong reasons. Then I do neurology, and I'm like, I hate it. Do cardiology? I hate it. And I was like, hell no, this is not for me. Started to do obstetrics and gynecology. Loved it. Fell in love with it. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, I found my thing. I want to do obstetrics and gynecology. And then I get into final year, and I think the test of who I am and realizing and accepting that I'm this kind of person, and I have a better view because I have other friends who are already working clinically and seeing their lifestyle, seeing what it actually entails to be in clinical medicine. I started to realize that I don't know if this is for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's okay to change my mind and feel like maybe I don't want to be an obstetrician and gynecologist anymore.
True.
And I think sometimes we have this fear that we're going to look confused to other people. But I think the real confusion is actually not knowing who you are or what you want deep inside than what it seems to other people. So, essentially, I'm figuring it out. So, guys, we'll find out what I'll become. And I'm pretty sure, like, now I'm more focused on channeling my abilities, my talent, and my passion. And I know that wherever I'm channeling those three things into my life, I'm most likely to thrive and find fulfillment, no matter how hard maybe or demanding these things will be.
True.
So guys, that was the education segment. Thank you, Robbie, for being open-minded, being so informative, and just sharing, information.
No, always.
I appreciate it. And we are moving on to the next segment where it's just vibes, guys. It's just vibes. Yeah. So, I think occasionally I really like to ask this question: how has been Debrecen for you?
It's been, what word can I use? I'll use good, amazing.
Nice.
What can I say? What's the word? There's a lot of growth. If you asked me when I came here, I was lucky. I always had a good bunch of friends. So I never felt at any point like lonely or anything like that. I was always within good company. I still am. So that's always been nice. And I'm somewhat of a social kid. So even and I've always put myself out there. So yeah, it's been nice. I remember even talking to one of my friends who was leaving that, Debrecen has got its problems. And at least if you asked any of us earlier on, we would have quickly highlighted those problems and asked a question like that. Well, how's your time in Debrecen been? But now if you ask me, this place has kind of like become home in a weird way. It's been nice. I don't know. Yeah. With the whole school thing, it's going well. I've met a lot of people through rugby, going to gym, just going out, doing different things, joining clubs, going to church even, things like that. The people that have come and gone, it's been beautiful. The friends and relationships I've made, it's been nice.
Yeah, that's it's really refreshing to just hear this really just nice. It's been good, a very positive outlook on your Debrecen experience. And I think I don't know where I read this or I saw this, that most of the times we perceive life according to how we're experiencing it, you know, so we can make an overall like outlook based on the current experience that we're having in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree with that, because now if you ask me how has Debrecen been for you, and if you ask me
Mm-hmm.
maybe 6 months ago or last year, I think it's two different
things,
different perspectives, because of the mindset that I was in that moment, or the experience that I was having in that moment. But right now, like looking back at my Debrecen experience, I agree. There's been a lot of growth. I've made some of the most beautiful friendships that I will forever cherish in this life, and I hope and pray to keep, you know, for as long as God allows. I've grown so much as a person, like from a young lady to a woman. This place has allowed me to grow, not only like develop myself and, you know, trying to get this degree, but I've developed myself like as an, you know, small entrepreneur. It's developed my skills and some of the responsibilities that I've had to take up. And these are really good things. I've had some really great experiences, fun moments, and all that, like a lot of them actually. But maybe when you're in a down moment, seeing all the bad things cumulatively that have happened, it just makes you feel like this place is just not terrible. And but it's life. If you spend so much time in a place, you're bound to have some really difficult moments in that place as well. But I think overall, actually, like the fact that I'm here towards the end and I'm at a better place than I was before, I think is a testament to that. This place has brought out good things out of me, whether from me or from the environment itself. So I definitely now share that sentiment. Because honestly, sometimes I'm just like, is my podcast a depression podcast? Because because sometimes I'm just like, fam, of course, like it's natural that whatever I might be experiencing, it's probably possible that this is what I'm kind of pushing out in my content, because that's where I'm at mentally. But I don't want it to be this like that's every good. Time people are listening, they're just like, hey, sometimes if you want to just be listening to depression and yeah. But yeah, so I'm actually really glad that it's not bad, guys. There was
no, like even with me, I've had times where I was really on the ropes and bad things are happening, but like right now it's good, and I went through that and passed it and overcame. And right now I'm in a very good space. You know, I was actually talking about it to someone that it's actually giving me some sort of anxiety, because it's like it's been too good to be true. You know, when is it gonna stop going wrong? You know, type thing. But yeah, I had my moments, but you know, we went through it. I feel like it's part of life. I feel like if people were honest, especially in university, you're changing and there's a whole bunch of changing and a lot of things going on in terms of you and your growth that are happening. If people are really honest, everyone goes through that. You know, that whole,
it's not a unique
you
experience.
go through something that's really life changing and all of that. And you know, hopefully I pray that we all get to a stage where we can see we overcame it and we're now in a good place. But yeah, maybe also I'm saying it's good because I feel like I'm also overly optimistic. But yeah.
But I think it's a good attitude to have. I was listening to this, man, I listened to like a lot of different things, and it was very interesting to me that they were talking about some, I don't know, philosopher or whatever, who was saying that, you know, whatever you experience, you know, this whole law of attraction, it seemed like a version of that, but I don't remember what exactly the words she used verbatim to express this. But like, if you're constantly, I think, thinking about things that are negative, you constantly be in the negative cycles. You constantly choose the same kind of partners that leave you in the same kind of relationship, make the same choices with your work. So you're constantly in a cycle of the bad experiences. But if you change your perspective into more positive outcomes where you're not always anticipating something negative as well. It changes the outcomes as well. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll try that. I'm going to will it into existence. I'm going to will everything into existence with my positive power in my mind. Yeah. So I think, yeah, your perspective and your mind has a lot, of power. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I was just taking account of my experiences in the past year and a half. And I was thinking about where I was exactly this time last year. And I was like, everything is about perspective, because I think last year it was really hard, because I felt like a lot of my friends that I used to really study with and push with were not around to be there so that I could, I don't know, do this last leg with some physical support. Actually, the moral support was there, people sending messages and things, but to have people to actually study with that I used to grind with and look up to, but now they've left, they're working and everything. I just felt like I can't do this by myself. I can't do this by myself. And, of course I have like friends who are here in Debrecen, but I think because I always worked with people who are ahead of me, because it always gives me the sight, like that's where I want to be, that's what I want to do. And I see them working, and that's, it's different from working with people who are in the same space with me, or who are looking towards the place that I am. Because I think, to me, if anything, it pressures me that I should be a motivation for them. So actually it doesn't push me like that. It makes me feel nervous, if anything. So I just felt like I can't do this, and I'd be really depressed here, and I couldn't study here. But every time I left the house to go and study in other places, it just felt so unfamiliar, because I would then miss my friends, and I would then miss their presence. If I go to Starbucks, I used to study with this friend here, we used to grind together here, I go there. It was just like, I can't do this. Then I come home, I'm just too depressed to study, and it's just like I'm stuck, and I was like, I can't do this on my own. I need someone, I need anyone. But I'm here, and it's the same place that I used to feel demotivated, depressed, and unable to be productive. Is exactly the same place I found that. So it's perspective. It's just a mind shift. I study here, I grind here, I still do hair here, this very same place. So I think if anyone's like listening, I think it's important. Maybe you will not be able to change your environment, but if you can change your mind, you have the power to change what's happening in your environment, for sure.
Wow.
And that has a really big impact. Yeah. But anyways, before we get deeper and deeper into
it, bro.
I don't know why I'm this person, but you guys, you have to take it as it is, Sometimes, the spirit will be talking. He's sending his messages to the people that need to hear it, via this podcast, Yeah, but I remember the discussion that we were having with Chinos, like in the previous episode, and we were talking about this whole, dating stuff and everything. And I think it's such a big, like, broad topic. And I also wanted to hear, like, your opinion or your perspective on this. Like, who is supposed to pay for stuff when dating? And when I say dating, I feel like I mean the period where I think people haven't gotten into the relationship, because I think once people are in a relationship, I think it becomes different, the dynamic, a little bit different.
It's like a you thing. I feel like you all can decide, depending on the couple, how you want to do the thing.
But what about in the dating phase?
The dating phase, I feel like generally,
because isn't there that,
you know what? I've got two things. I feel like the person who should pay is the person who initiated the date, in terms of, hey, I want to take you out on a date. And I'm just saying that in theory, but I feel like generally the guys also feel like they're inclined to pay. It's a guy.
It hurts my feelings every time.
I swear.
So this is now a second person saying that.
On the ground, in real life, let's be real. Sometimes, what's even bad? Sometimes even the girl will come very prepared, backed up with the money ready, and she'll say she's willing to pay. But I'm telling you, at the back of her mind, when that check comes, she wants you to be the first one to pull out your card or your wallet and be like, "I'm willing to pay." She'll be like, "Oh," and that will give you points, and she'll be willing to pay, and you might make it go to second day or whatever. But I say that will give you so much points on the day, even if she's ready to pay.
I'm totally that chick. I'm not leaving my house without the ability to eat what I want to eat and drink what I want to drink. But I still want you to take the initiative and pay. You know what my pet peeve is? I hate it when guys call me, like, especially if you're a guy who's interested in me.
Yeah.
Right? I think everybody else, in fact, it's empowering. But if you're interested in me and then you're giving me, oh, wow, you're so independent. Oh, wow.
But you are no.
Don't do that, please. Actually, I don't need to be giving people immediate turn off. Don't call me. Don't text me. Please, thank you. Bye. What?
No, but then how do you? Because obviously, for a guy to then point that out, you are giving independent energy. So if you are giving that energy, and the guy then points it out.
Honestly, I feel like it means that you are drawing that energy out of me.
Fair.
Okay, let me try to be accountable and be responsible. Let me try to be accountable and be responsible for my actions. But specifically, context. So, I don't really remember when this was, right? But I think it was like a situation where I think we're supposed to like watch a movie or something like this, right? And then I think like they got the tickets or something like that. And then I just felt like, okay, maybe I should get the food.
Snacks.
Or the snacks or something like that, you know what I mean? And so that's what I offered to do because I was just like, I didn't want pressure because I feel like, I think for me, the moment I also let you take that role, it also means that I think I have asserted actually a certain place for you because I'm letting myself, take a step back and allow you to lead. So if I'm not letting you lead, it reflects something most of the time. You get what I'm saying? If I'm really, really adamant about it and I'm not letting you lead, it means actually maybe I look at you as someone I should maybe lead. Or not in that way. Not in that way. Or I'm looking at you as someone, if anything, I should be taken care of. If that makes sense. So the moment I let you lead, it means I'm allowing you to take care of me. I'm letting my guard down in that way. Because I think my independence is something that is a really big part of me. So when I step out of that, I'm really, really letting you lead and I'm actually like withdrawing. But so in that moment, it was just like, like I'm not really there, but you know what? Let's go watch a movie. It's harmless kind of thing. And I wasn't really sure, like, what are the intentions of this person? Are they trying to be friendly or are they trying to, is this a date? Like, what is it? So this is why for me, I was like, nah, it's okay. I think they got the tickets. I'll get the snacks type of situation. So I'm like, I was like, oh, I'm going to get some snacks. Would you like some snacks? Then it was like, they won't really want any snacks, maybe just like a drink or something. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm ready to pay and this person is not fighting me. And I'm like, excuse me, step into your masculine energy. What's going on? Of course, I didn't say anything, but immediately I took note of it. And I was like, no, and when I was like, I think paying, they were like really hyping me up on some, you're just such an independent, strong woman. Oh, rich woman, this, that.
Because that never happens.
A rich woman. And I was just like, this is not cute. It is not cute.
It's not.
If I have to be a rich lady around my man, that's definitely not going to be a space I want to constantly put myself in. In fact, it doesn't mean that we can't relate or something like that, but like we'll be friendly. But I don't think that I want my man to play that position. I want to be able to be financially vulnerable.
So, hey, James, you heard it, yeah.
This is just me. This is just me.
Hey,
But if you want to win in this life as a man, be ready. Be ready to fork out some cash. And that being said, like, I think that's why it's important for you guys to invest in something that you're actually genuinely interested in. Because, like, why are you parting with your finances over, a girl that is not picking your interest like that? Like, I know it's so hard because every time, like, someone takes me out on a date and they, pay for everything and stuff like that, I keep imagining myself having to pay for all these things. And I'm just like, God, being a man is actually tough.
No,
It's actually rough because I don't want to lie. I want these things done. And the fact that, like, it's an expectation that, you guys have to meet. I cannot imagine that manhood is easy. I cannot imagine that manhood is easy. Like, and I think it makes me so appreciative of the people or the men in my life who really take care of me. And I'm not just saying, guys who have a romantic interest in me. I mean, like, friends and everything, because, like, they'll get lunch, they'll do this, they always show up on that gentleman-ish. Even if we are platonic friends and things like that, they always show up in that capacity. And for me, it just makes me really appreciated, and I always feel like treating them too. I always feel that way, so just so you know, guys, we're not all leeches out here trying to suck the life out of you. Some of us, we do appreciate, like, we do see how hard you're working and all the initiative that you're putting forward. And I think that should be also placed where it's appreciated and valued. So that's also your responsibility. Because if you're just like, oh, women are trash, they're just trying to get this out of you and what, and you're not being mindful of where you're putting your energy and your finances. They say put your money where your mouth is. I think that would be your responsibility sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely different on this side. But you see, you're baiting me into revealing state secrets to you.
Say it.
It depends on the gent, because also, okay, I'll say this. First of all, half the time, gents are like the way gents treat you in your life. It's because pretty much that's how we're raised generally. There's sort of satisfaction we get when you're being able to take care of a girl. I feel like in an ideal world, if every guy could do that, I feel like I would all choose that. But obviously, circumstances change, are different, and all of that. And then secondly, the reason why I think guys are also willing to just spend money with any other girl, whatever the case may be, is because it's easy. It works. Type thing. You go there, you spend a bit of money, whether you like it or not, or you're there for a quick thing, whatever the case may be. It'll work. And guys generally don't do stuff that they know doesn't work or know works. I don't know if I'm making sense. So yeah, they always do stuff that they know works.
To get the results that they want.
They know the results work, so that's why they do that, typically. But yeah.
I see. Because I remember I was having a discussion with a friend, and they really talked about how they were really exhausted with, like, dating as a guy, because it's like they actually realized that, like, I'm investing a lot of my hard earned money in dating, in taking this girl out to lunch or dinner, trying to actually genuinely get to know them, and it's really not going anywhere. And they were like, nah, this is actually draining me financially, and it's actually not benefiting me. And I feel like I think it's a reality for a lot of men, because it becomes like, okay, actually now I'm just draining my finances. I'm not investing in a potential relationship or a potential goal. I'm just buying myself some sex, or I'm just buying and I think when you get to that point where you mature and you become a man and you value your money, your time, your heart, your what, you start to see that actually this is not an investment. This is a waste of my funds because I don't like her like that. It's not even deep like that. Like, no, not anymore. Because I think at the end of the day, I think everyone wants genuine connection, genuine companionship.
Yeah.
And I think after a while, it does become a little exhausting because, I mean, can you imagine, like, it's already hard, we have to pay for the food that we eat every day. But can you imagine? Yes, but can you imagine? Yeah, we need food to survive, but we pay for it every day. And it does get exhausting. Sometimes you just want free food.
Free food, fair.
Yeah.
Real.
And I think for something like companionship, to feel like you're constantly investing financially in it, I think it can become really even emotionally exhausting because I don't think it's something that is naturally meant to be paid for in material value, maybe. So I really felt for him that way. But now I'm really wondering like what it is for women, because it's really true. I think I was seeing something on the Shade Room, and I think there was this guy. Yes, there was a guy who had been stood up for a date and everything, and he had brought flowers, and
I think
he
I
was
saw
ranting
that.
about it.
I didn't even cry. Wait, is it the same? But yeah, go on.
Yeah, he was like one cockeyed guy like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to say because the comment section was crazy. I said, people have no empathy, And then, some guys were commenting, they were like, fam, this is like City Boys down 1000, bro. You take rejection, you suck it up, you keep moving as a man, And I was like, okay, that's not wrong either, right? And then the other ladies were being very empathetic. They were like, you wait for your right one and this and this and that. And then under that comment, it's like, but you wouldn't have him. And then it's just like, these gender wars, like, bruh, they're hectic.
Those are here to stay, man.
But have you ever been stood up before? Or have you ever stood someone up before?
Nah, none of the above, actually. You see, I've never maneuvered in the streets like that.
Yeah, clearly.
Real. You can count the dates and whatever that, officially.
Yeah, this is a taken man. So, for context.
No, even before, like, I have very little experience in the streets like that.
For me, I don't even think I want to be honest, because like you, I'm just not this. I am not constantly trying to meet a billion people and I don't know, share my life or parts of my life, and it's just not a thing for me. Like, it's just not. And I think like going about also like in the streets, like sharing things like physical intimacy, aka sex, with random people as well, it's just not a thing for me. It's not a lifestyle for me. So I don't get it. But like, I think people who like stand people up, like not show up, in fact, I hate people who don't communicate. I hate it so much.
Understood that. Like, first of all, how do you get to that point of you organize a date, whatever, let's meet up at this time, but the fact that you stood them up means you didn't want to do this. So how did we get to that point of let's meet up if you didn't want to in the first place? I don't get it. I don't.
And my thing is like if you're not interested or you no longer you don't want to show up for the date anymore, I feel like there's a bunch of excuses that you can give so that this person's time is not wasted. Even if it's a lie,
I'm not gonna dress up.
Even if it's a lie, my cat died today. I don't know. Say something. Let this person not show up. It's like it was so sad to see that, and honestly, I really felt like the person he was gonna go on the date with should be more courteous than that. I think that's unacceptable. But honestly, people who do not respect other people's time, for me, that is
but then also things happen.
I don't like that. I do not like that.
I'm willing to understand like a proper excuse though.
We'll have to hear what excuse it is. This is why I said that for me, communication is the most important thing for me.
Fair, true.
I think that what actually happens in itself has weight, yes, but it will never have more weight than you communicating. Because for me, it's like, even if, let's say, an hour before the date, probably I'm almost like getting ready and things like that, and you're like, I'm really sorry, I got caught up at work, or I have to attend to this, or whatever. Let me know. Tell me on time. Give me a chance to prepare myself, or to not, further prepare myself if you're not going to show up or if you can't make it. Because the thing is that you don't owe me anything. but at least you owe me some level of respect, some communication. That's it. Let me prepare myself. Let me be like, oh, okay, so there's no more day today, and then I'll see what I'm gonna do about it. But like to just be like, you know that we have a plan. You know that I'm going to come and I'm going to show up, and you know that you're not going to be there. But you will not even write to me to communicate that. You won't even call me to communicate that.
Fair.
That is messed
Very
up.
fair.
That I think there's a special corner in hell for people who treat people like that. I do not like it. I do not like. For me, Robbie, even people who are late, if people knew the amount of anxiety and how much it actually like irritates me, like affects my mood when people are late, I honestly think that people wouldn't be like late. But it's just that obviously when they're not there, like I'm just like, okay, let me just let it go. But in that moment when you're late, I'm that kind of person. If we are meeting up at 12 or something like that, and I'm going to be late, you already know when you're going to be late. Even if it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, you already know. So you have to start communicating, hey, I'm running late. I'm going to be there in 5 to 10 minutes. And you show up in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't be telling me BS, oh, I'm going to be there 5 to 10 minutes so that it's like you're prompting me to wait longer. Like what is that? You know, oh, we are going to meet at 12. You're showing up at 2. You don't say anything. I'm supposed to sit here in my life waiting for you to show up. Like, it's so disrespectful. And I hope that people who do this, like get an actual grip. Like, no, it's not cool. Do not waste people's time. And it just takes you communicating. I'm not saying that show up on time if your bus is late. I'm not saying that show up on time if your combi is late, because some things are beyond your control. But what is in your control is communication. Is always in your control most of the time.
Attack us to dating. It's fine. But yeah, even I've had to learn that. Yeah.
And I'm just like, is it that hard to text or to call?
Real.
You know, like, I'm actually running a bit late, you know. You guys, this is why girls are like, just come and pick me up. Because at least I'll be in the comfort of my home. But for me...
Is that why?
Sometimes, yeah.
Crazy.
Because I'm not gonna be out there in some restaurant sitting by myself waiting for you to show up because you were doing what? Okay, let me not let me not go there. Let me not go there. But like you know what I mean? You don't want to go into it. In fact, I feel like sometimes men know that ladies are, you know, we do the makeup and everything that. So you guys already kind of anticipate that sometimes this stuff like takes time. But I think there's no reason for us ladies to be late and not communicate on top. Like, even if I'm late doing my makeup, eyelashes, whatever, I'll be communicating, hey, I'm kind of running late, you know, my makeup is I took a bit more time than I was anticipating, you know. I'll communicate with you if I'm running late, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hour, and then you can decide, nah, if it's an hour, I'm not on it or something. But like, at least give that person a choice to do something with their time. Yeah.
Fair.
I feel like I can go on a whole rant about tardiness because it is a very big pet peeve of mine. I do not think that I can be with a tardy man. Like, if you cannot be on time, if you cannot communicate about not being on time, I'll be anxious my whole life. Every time I'm thinking, oh, it's 7 o'clock. This person's supposed to be coming. I've prepared myself mentally, emotionally, trying to get ready, and this and this and that. Dude doesn't show up for the next 30 minutes. No.
Gents, I hope you're listening.
You're not wasting my life. Yeah. And I know myself. I'm such an empathetic person. I don't want to kill the vibe. So, of course, you now show up. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, fine, let's go. But I'm going to be better now. We're not going anywhere. You show up late, I'm not answering the phone. You show up late, I'm not open. I'm not home. You get there, I'm not there. Yes, that's the only way people learn. You know that, fam. If I'm dealing with this girl, I show up on time. If I can't, I communicate. Simple. Because, I'm tired. Yeah. Anyways, on another note, social media giving us pressure on this dating stuff. I feel like sometimes this is what is making things so much harder. Do you feel like do you feel depression?
Nah. And
Really?
are we really like under pressure? Are we? Are we like?
Robbie,
I
I
mean,
really love
it's a
this bubble
context
that you're
thing.
in,
I feel like
actually.
it's a context thing. Like, how are you feeling pressure because Ningi or ever this dude flew the girl out? Yes, maybe I can aspire to that, but then right now I am in no capacity to be flying no one, including myself, out to nowhere. So, hey, why am I feeling pressure? Like, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm like, wow, man, I want to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But like, bro,
But
I don't know.
I guess sometimes maybe if you're not feeling the internal pressure from yourself because you actually know that okay, it's not my time yet and I can't afford this. But I feel like another thing that's happening to young guys, especially let's say guys of normal means, let's say guys in uni, most of them, in fact, you have like your little side hustle and things like that. And let's be honest, most of the times, like our side hustles are brain children or the outcome of us actually trying to supplement our financial needs.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it becomes this thing where you're just making so much extra money. You get what I'm saying? It's
fair.
anything, it's usually to supplement. So on average, you can just basically just fend for yourself, do the basic things. But now there's also these other young men that are making crazy amounts that are through social media and things like this. I don't know, gaming, what. And this is what other young women are seeing other young guys doing, and the lifestyle that comes with that, the luxuries that come with that. And sometimes they are now expectant of this. They want to enjoy those luxuries and everything. And I feel like there has to be some pressure they will put on their partners, maybe who are not in that position. And then because of that, they'll start to feel pressure. But man, at least let me get like one designer bag, something. And you're out here just trying to.
Fair. Then it is. Then maybe it's there, like in that sense. But like, how do I put this? Like, okay, I'll use my example. My partner, I guess, is very understanding. She always says that she understands that like I'm a student because she's a student. So she's not trying to make me do the most. Although she will explicitly tell me like, hey bro, I'm an expensive babe. I like nice things. She will tell me that. But then even after that, it's within reason. I guess, because she understands my situation. And the fact that she's been with me for this long, she's continued to choose, where I'm at. If at some point she felt that like, hey, Robbie can't take care of me, I guess she was always free to then move or explore, whatever the case may be, and that's always been somewhat the case. But I guess in that sense, that's good. So I'm always like, the things that will happen that I will feel pressured. It's not even her, just like social media and stuff like that. Even other guys. But it's then that thing where you then have to weigh, what you can and you can't do. You don't want to be making stupid financial
decisions as well.
Type thing. So it also comes with
because guys, pressure is real. I remember
real,
there was a time when I felt the pressure because this was like a couple of years back, and I was in a long-term relationship, and I think one of my friends, obviously I was younger, all these things mattered, and one of my friends, like, I think it was Valentine's Day exactly. And I'm a Valentine's Day girl. I don't think that
aren't you all?
There you go. Yeah. But I don't know where men can think that a girl I think there are some girls that are Valentine's girls or who are pretending to be. I don't know. But I'm very open and upfront. I'm a Valentine's Day girl. Do something.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not gonna try to pressure you. Okay? But like do something. So I remember it was Valentine's, and I think the partner that I had at the time wasn't they didn't grow up like that. And I think it's also like a cultural thing. Back where we come from, especially like back home in Zim as well, like Valentine's is a big thing in our culture. Like even when we're in high school, like, guys, if you had a girl, you send like a rose, all these little practices that were part of us growing up, and, it's part of developing relationships and things like that. So I really grew up with like the expectation of like, oh, Valentine's is a special day. And from what I'd grown up with, I think I always used to see my mom get my dad gifts. So I always knew that gifts are exchanged. I never grew up believing that as a woman, I'm the only one who receives like gifts. I knew that for Valentine's in particular, it was mostly women who receive from the men. And I think the tradition was that if it's a leap year, it's the guy's turn to receive, which is not as often as the women is, right? But for me, I was just like, nah, it's nice to exchange gifts kind of thing. So I've always been a person, like, I like to give gifts. It's one of my big love languages, actually. So, so I was really looking. So, I mean, when we started to get to know each other and everything, I think the first Valentine's, you told me that, like, this is not a thing for him, like, and I was like, wait, so, like, you didn't really see your parents give each other, like, Valentine's gifts or do something? Maybe it's not gifts, but maybe they go to dinner or, just have a day for themselves. Then he was like, not really. And even like celebrating birthdays extravagantly also weren't a thing. So it was just not a culture that he had. But I expressed to him that this is something I really like and I really value. And, even though maybe if, let's say for him, going as far as, let's say, buying an elaborate gift, is like too far, but let's do something. Let's go to dinner, let's have, something special together. That's what I wanted. So I think the first year, our first Valentine's, I expressed this. And I remember we actually went to dinner, which was really nice, and I was happy about it. And then the next year, no plan. Listen, I said, and I remember that time, here's where the pressure came. So my friend, her boyfriend wasn't even in the city, actually. And he sent a gift that arrived, I think, just before on Valentine's Day gift. And it was like, this fedora, bracelet and everything like that. And I was like, hey, guy who's not even here. He was not even here. Like, he's shown up. He's shown up. And I'm like, you have me here in the flesh and you can take me to dinner.
Yeah.
Or we can go to dinner together. Because for me, it was almost like he's against the notion of making anything of this day. But it's clearly important to me to make something of it. Not anything elaborate, but just something. So it could have been just like, we'll go to the park, we'll have some wine, and we'll just do that kind of thing. It wouldn't have cost that much, but I think it would have meant so much to me. So it's really important, I think, we might value different things and come from different backgrounds, but I think learning to compromise and actually listening to what, like, your partner values is important. I value Christmas, like, these things, they're so important to me because I grew up with them. So for me, these are core things. So, but for him, it wasn't just a big deal like that. So for me, like, on Christmas Day, I have gifts for everyone and everything like that, and we're supposed to exchange gifts. Nothing. But I'm telling you, I'm communicating this constantly. Why isn't it important to you to do something that is important to me? It's Christmas. I give you gifts and everything. Why is it not important for you to be like, hey, my girl really likes this gift and Christmas and all this stuff. You know what? Let me get a Christmas gift. We exchange gifts on Christmas. I don't know if that's a very big compromise.
It's not really, because I'll testify, I don't come from a family where birthdays and all of that was celebrated. And I was like always at school also and all of that, but like they weren't celebrated, they weren't extravagant. It was never anything past like the cake. If not, again, you might not get a present, type thing. But then coming here, I've made friends who they really appreciate that, and the whole, what do you call it, Secret Santa, Valentine's, birthdays, the whole length, right?
Yeah.
They really appreciate all of that. And I've had to learn to, do the same thing. Even my mom ended up telling me some of that. I'm like, hey, bro, I know I raised you this way, but I was wrong. I'm telling you now, if you've got people who you appreciate, you need to do something to just show. It's literally one day, bro. You've got lots of time to plan for it and all of that.
Absolutely.
So if you can,
it literally comes the same time every year.
Do something.
Yes.
And when you do it, it's coming from a nice place. It feels nice.
Yeah.
I swear. So
So yeah, I think for me, like, and I feel like I did put pressure, and then I did mention it then that I think that was my mistake, because now I'm comparing.
You're comparing.
Like, my friend, but her boyfriend is not even here, and he did something, and I think if anything, it's even lowered his motivation to do something. Because
I told the gents out there, that's literally the worst day about V-Day. Unlike the birthday pressure, V-Day, every other girl is getting something, and then you don't do anything.
But who sent you to not do anything when Valentine's is important all over the world?
I don't get it. She's gonna feel some type of way.
I don't get it. I plan something, draw some papers, and do that game we used to do as kids. Yeah, choose red, blue, what? Do that. I don't know. Do something. Do something. And then we end up. And I think sometimes girls will take the initiative.
I've got a question. What do you feel about the let's do V-Day on the 13th or on the 15th type guys? Today I'm not winning, but tomorrow, the day after, I'll be winning. Let's then do something just on the day.
No, but what are you doing on the day?
No, something special could be significant. Maybe the check didn't hit on the 14th. It hit the next day. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It almost sometimes
feels
like girls really, really stress the day. It won't be the same tomorrow. It's about doing something that day.
For me, it's not like that. I feel like Valentine's is just about the time. You know what I mean?
It's a time thing.
It's a time thing for me, actually. Like, it's just, and I feel like, honestly speaking, there are some people who are like, oh, for us, Valentine's is every day. I wish you get, and I feel like for people, for the women who are really satisfied with how they are treated or spoiled in relationships, truly, Valentine's is not that day they look forward to, But for you, Iwewe John, you did not do anything. Please show up on Valentine's Day. Yes, man. That's my point. Yes. And for me personally, I don't mind, like, if we're gonna, because, like, in reality, like, real people in the world, fine, in uni is different, but I consider myself a person who's entered in the real world where people have jobs and things like that. So of course, like, we're not going to be able to celebrate like Valentine's Day maybe on the dot with like that special celebration. Maybe on the day, because maybe people were working or something like this. Or what we'll be able to do is just exchange, I don't know, like maybe some sweet messages, like try to have like a little nice dinner, intimate dinner together, or like just pop a bottle of wine or something. And then maybe on the weekend we can do a little getaway. That's okay for me. So for me, I feel like it's the sentiment of the day that really, really matters to me. So for me, someone because it's now conscious, making a conscious effort to ignore the sentiment of Valentine's Day, that for me is a problem. Because love is a doing word. So if you're consciously ignoring making any gesture at all to acknowledge this day, and it's not about the day, to acknowledge me.
Fact.
Because personally, I'm not attached to the day. I'm attached to the sentiment of the day. Just like my birthday, like, I mean, it's the day I was born, but I'm attached to the sentiment of, this is the day I came in. I'm attached to the sentiment of, this is the day you came into the world, and because you were born this day, like, I get to have a friend like you, or a partner like you, or a cousin like you, a mom like you, a dad like you. That's the sentiment of celebrating that day. It's to celebrate you. So if you're consciously ignoring an opportunity to celebrate what we share together, that's what it feels like to me. Yeah. So it means you're consciously doing it. You're consciously choosing that, on this day where, we can particularly, especially celebrate our love or our partnership. Nah, I'm not going to do anything. It's like, damn. Like, because I don't think it takes that much to move someone's heart. Unless, of course, you have a very demanding partner or something like that. That's different. But for me, I think I do like expensive gifts. I do like and I'm a sucker for sentimental gestures. Get the flowers. I'll love it. Get, come home and just be like, you know what? Today's Valentine's Day. You really matter a lot to me. Right now, we're saving up for this, or I'm saving up for this, because if we're partners, I know what's going on in your life. I know where you are financially, and I feel like if you're a planner, maybe you're like, you know what, you've been planning since last year because this financial thing is coming up, financial responsibility. You've planned ahead, or maybe you haven't been able to like plan ahead or whatever has happened, but you'll make a conscious effort. I don't know, write something, write a poem, download something off of Pinterest, print it out. It doesn't cost that much. Don't know, pluck some flowers off some bushes. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah.
Do something. I don't think it's too hard to do something that will capture someone's heart that you know very well. True. Like I'm telling you,
take a bit of time.
Yeah, but I think sometimes what happens is that maybe sometimes those efforts are not appreciated. So men feel like if they can't provide an extravagant something, there's no point. Maybe, I don't know. Is that what happens? Do you think?
I mean, it can make sense, but like,
because some guys would be like, man, like, I'll now come with a card, and I know all your girls are receiving, bouquets of flowers and all these luxe roses from
real.
fancy
it
places.
Happens.
Is
it
there
happens.
even a point?
It actually happens, real. Because then there's nothing worse than, let's say, you're of a low financial tax bracket, right? And then your homies, your girlfriends, guys are moving mad. They're doing the most. There's nothing worse than you doing the small that you could have done, This is literally you, bro. This is literally you. You go, then your girl's like, what's this? Bruh. That is, that is soul crushing. So, like, I guess you'd rather not do anything, and then, you just ride the wave of her being angry, or whatever the case may be. I don't know.
So do you, you ride the wave of her being angry. So is there like a plan in the end to compensate for this, or if it passes, it passes?
Then I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's like, but the Valentine's is Valentine's. You've already been mad at me. It's like, let's just go.
It is
we'll
see
each other at your birthday.
Live.
Hey, manje me.
I even know of people, like, Twitter's a crazy place, who say, my relationships never make it to Valentine's because I always make sure we break up just before, and then I either get back with you after, or it's already a new thing just to avoid the day. And I'm like, wow, that is insane. But
and my thing is like, okay, you want to avoid this day so badly, but you still want the person in your life? Like, I don't understand. Like,
sometimes you generally enjoy someone's company, but then, like, enjoying, like, things with a relationship, it's not just someone's company or whatever. Like I said, it comes with responsibilities and accountability and all these other things, appreciating
so
your
say
person.
it, you don't want to be accountable, responsible, or invest in the relationship. Let me tell you a secret that is not a big secret. I think it's something that I heard on one of the really amazing podcasts that I listened to, and they say that if you really believe in it, you invest in it. And she was not even you invest in it. Because I think yes, we can invest time, energy, money. If you believe in it, you invest money in it. And for me, I was like, she's right. And I think that's what actually empowered me to invest in this podcast. Because I said, if I believe in it, if I believe that this podcast...
I'm a firm believer of that.
Is going to be something, and I want it to be something. Let me put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. And for me, that is a big sign for me now, for people who claim that they're invested in something. For me, I'm yet to see the financial investment. You say that, oh my gosh, like, oh, I think you're really amazing. You're this day, you're beautiful. Yeah, this, that. Invest in the things. Yes, put your money where your mouth is.
Real. I even have examples where guys were like, "Hey, bruh, I moved mad, for this girl I did the most." But then you always hear the mouth to say, "But you know what? It was worth it. It was a lot, but it was worth it. It was nice. It was a good time. Be it a vacation, whatever the case, whatever they did. It was a good time."
Yeah, if you believe in it, I do exactly the same thing. Like if it, and it's not. I think there's this like misconception. Maybe it doesn't apply to everyone, so I'll speak for myself here. If I believe in it, I'll invest my money in it. If I think that you're an amazing supportive person in my life and things like that, like why won't I invest my money in it? Yes, I'll pay for us to go and have lunch. I'll pay for us to go grab a coffee. I'll pay for us to go hang out, catch a movie, whatever. I decided that I will invest in the things I believe in, and I will no longer invest in things I don't believe in. I will not invest my time. I will not invest my energy, especially not my money. No. Catch the hints, ladies. Catch the hint. People invest their money in things that they believe in. And even then, how much? How much? Count it. Let me stop. Toxic femininity. Toxic femininity. But for real though, like on the real, I think people invest in the things that you believe in. You're a barber. If you believe in your barbership, or I don't know what they call your barbering and everything, and that this skill can develop more, like you can provide a better service and things like that, you will save money to buy a better clipper. You will save money
Initially,
to buy
the one that I bought, even I could have really been a cheapskate about it, but I was like, nah, bro, the money will come back one day because it's a business. I don't care if it's gonna be today or tomorrow, a year from now, but let me just invest in a good clipper, give people a decent service, exactly.
Yeah, and you invested in it. So we invest in the things that we believe in. So I think it's important not to expect people to give things that they don't have, whether it's love, whether like sometimes you actually have to evaluate, like, does this person have the capacity? Wanting to do things for you and having the capacity are two different things. I stuck around based off of the person would keep expressing that they have this desire to satisfy the relationship in this way. They want to be the best boyfriend, and they want to, and then they want to do this, and but they never did it. Because honestly, frankly, they didn't have the capacity.
Hard chat. Yeah.
So yeah, while you're out here selling the other children's dreams, evaluate, do you have the capacity? Yes, you want to. Do you have the capacity? The desire is, they say that yes, the spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is what is weak. Is capacity. That's what we're talking about. Do you have? I think if I have certain guests, this podcast
is a longer segment.
It will, yeah. I need the same like segment like I had with Tino.
You don't realize time actually ends up flying. You don't realize that it's been an hour, 2 hours, especially when the guans are guaning.
Yeah.
The way they do. So
yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Robbie, for coming to the podcast. I'm looking forward to having you on again, and we can, discuss more topics. I think that you have some really insightful opinions, and I will give you the horns. That this episode, you are going to direct it, and let's push an agenda or like a topic of discussion. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Remember, life is but a journey, so bon voyage.